creating new venture capital fund and assistance. This is a great idea, but make sure it includes mechanisms for developing social enterprises as much as profit-based ones. The social economy has great potential in rural areas, especially where social cohesion is stronger and collective traditions are part of the culture. Consider, for example, the successful experiment in Cape Breton, where a deal was made with the federal government to give unemployed workers the option of employment insurance or working on social development activities designed by local communities. The 5-year project demonstrated how the participants in the community designed programs worked longer, learned more skills, and increased their income. At the same time, by participating in the program, the community increased their social cohesion and decision-making capacity while they received the direct benefits of the work provided. Consider what in your current policy package you would have to change in order to make such a program a permanent feature of your toolkit for community and human development. Facilitate the strategic use of public lands and resources for regional development is your 5th point. Getting control over local assets is an excellent goal for community development. Our past policies and current addiction to commodity trade in our natural resources has undermined this ability over the last 100 years or so. So we have to avoid the temptation and pressure to continue doing it in the future. There are many experiments in community-based management of forests, the sea, hydropower, and the wind that are worth investigating as models for strategic action. BC is particularly well placed because it's in the middle of multiple negotiations with First Nations people, negotiations that include various arrangements for the management of natural resource assets. This is an opportunity to consider the wide variety of models that is emerging from these negotiations. The Native people that I know are very aware of the types of arrangements made in other parts of the country and how well they are working or not working. This means that each new negotiation can learn from the previous. But it takes flexibility, imagination, and courage on the part of the government, since it means being open to new ideas of governance and working out new ways to meet the demands of fairness and accountability that are central to good government. It's important to remember that fairness and accountability can occur in many different ways, however. Your 6th point was to retain and reinvest a greater proportion of wealth in rural BC. I've already touched on this when I mentioned the legacy of our commodity-based economy. It's well established how much of the wealth of rural areas does not return. We are only able to purchase our computers, iPods, and bananas because of the rural resources that we sell overseas, just as we've been able to weather the storm of the most recent financial crisis by the high price of oil. Moving some of that wealth back to the rural areas is a worthy and intelligent goal, but to get there we need to do a few things first. We need to build the capacity of rural regions to manage the wealth, and that requires the other element mentioned in the action plan, especially multi-year funding. The Quebec example demonstrates how important long-term stability is to the process of negotiation and compromise that is necessary for regional collaboration. Only if I know that the money will be there in 5 years will I be willing to let you get the new school now in exchange for the hospital in the future. And maintain viable rural communities. I've already mentioned the wisdom of the municipality of Inuvik when they recognized the importance of making their town an attractive place to live. This message was repeated by many other participants who attended the SURF National Conference there in 2008. The long-term solution to the ups and downs of resource-based economies and the uncertainty of international markets and climate change lies in the ingenuity and enthusiasm of our citizens. If they find their communities attractive, they will do all they can to stay there. but it's up to governments to help them learn how to do it, not only by providing the tools and information required, but ensuring a context that supports experimentation, innovation, and the occasional failure. In conclusion, I'll take you back to the elements of the new rural paradigm. It means building assets, empowering local organizations, enhancing coordination among governments, and respecting the special conditions of rural places and people. All of these should be on the agenda for a sustainable BC. It's time to begin the hard work of identifying what this means for the particular history, culture, people, and assets of British Columbia. Thank you very much.